Hi guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to a game of Fangs and Thrones. Now today's video I'm just going to be going through a very brief selection of some of the series that I either have started and want to finish soon, or want to start soon and want to start and finish soon. So we'll just get straight into it. So we have The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Obviously this is an older book. Don't really know much about it other than G from Book Roast really likes it, and this is quite a new purchase, so I'm not really too bothered about that one. But I know we follow Covey, who is this bit of a magician who has had an incredible life, and he's recounting it to an innkeeper at the beginning of the book. And then the sequel is The Wise Man's Fear, which obviously would take off from where this book leaves off. Oh, so articulate today, Anna. But then we have Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. And this is the first in her new trilogy, The Last Hours. The sequel, Chain of Iron, has been released and the cover is beautiful. So in this one we follow the latest additions to the Shadowhunter world family, which are the Cordelia Carstairs and James and Lucy Herondale, I believe this is set in the same world as same time period as the Infernal Devices. So these are Will and Tessa's kids, as well as Henry and Charlotte. Henry and Charlotte's kids, as well as Cecily and Gideon, Gabriel and Sophie. And I think I got them the wrong way around. Gideon and Cecily, Gabriel. No, it's Gideon and I don't know. But anyway, it follows them, and I've heard great things about this, and I do enjoy the Shadowhunters world. I do like Cassie Clay's writing. Then we have A Nevernight by J. Christoph, following our badass heroine Mia as she learns to become an assassin within the Red Church of Ithria. All down for that. And yes, I do have the two other books there. I like the covers, and I think this is probably going to be one that I binge read, because I know the end of God's Grave is quite a nasty one, and I think when I read God's Grave I'll want to jump straight back into Dark Dawn and have my heart ripped out. Then we have City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, and this is a adult fantasy, I believe. I'm just sorting out some books here, trying to get it in somewhat of an order. But yeah, this is an adult fantasy set in Cairo, where we follow Nari, who is a bit of a thief and a con woman who believes her magic is just for sleight of hand and to get a bit of money from the tourists, and she does use it to heal as well, I believe. So we'll dive right into this one, and I believe so in this one Nari is our thief, our main protagonist, and she accidentally summons a djinn and ends up having to go to their world to obviously fix whatever's gone wrong, and I believe she gets involved in a war and learns more about her magic as well. We have three more series that I want to start. Dark Shade of Magic by V. Schwab. We follow Kel, who is a traveller. He can travel between the four different Londons: Red London, Grey London, White London, and Black London. And Kel is able to travel those worlds, and from what I understand it, this is very beloved by a lot of people. And can you tell, I cave to a lot of booktube hype and end up buying the big books, big hype books, and don't read them for ever because I'm scared. But yeah, and then I believe there is I think there is female romance, or at least it's on the LGBTQ plus spectrum, which is something I am trying to read more of. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. But yeah, we have that one. And next, I want to the next book in the sort of category of want to start soon is the Mistborn Trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. We have book 1, which is The Final Empire, and I believe this is a story of what would happen if the Chosen One failed. So we have the bad guy in control, who is the Lord Ruler, and he's been reigning for 1,000 years. It doesn't snow in this world, but it is ash. 1,000 years he's been in charge, and he's got the scum of a downtrodden race who live in misery and fear of what's going to happen. And every attempted revolt on the Lord Ruler has failed miserably, so everybody's just sort of getting on with it. But then we follow a street urchin who's taken in by a criminal mastermind and must learn to master Elemency, which I believe which involves ingesting different types of metal to get different powers from it. And I've heard nothing but great things about this series. And then we have The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, and with this one I have been interested in it for a while, just never got around to picking it up. But basically this one, it's more urban fantasy. We follow the Scion government, who are trying to keep anything paranormal or unnatural out of London. So we've got clairvoyance, which is outlawed. Obviously there's going to be a black market for this kind of thing because that's what happens. And we follow Paige, who is a powerful dream walker, so she does have some sort of clairvoyance about her. Operating in the Seven Dials, a district of London, using her gifts illegally while still trying to hide them from her father. And I've heard good things about this one, so we'll just put them to one side. So if you think there's any of these books that I should get on quick, let me know in the comments. And then the next ones are series that I've had for a while and just want to finish, because I believe all of the books are out or they've been around for a while, and I just want to keep on track of it. So we have, these aren't the books that I want to read, these are just the first in the series. So we have the study series by Maria V. Schneider. This is the first book, but Poison Study, which follows Yelena Zaltana, who is she becomes the food taster for the commander, and we go from there. Magic is forbidden, but Yelena has magic and ends up getting involved with the prison master. It's been a while since I've read this, but I do remember really enjoying the magic system and the world and all of the twists and turns and the ending. It is currently a 9-book series, with the first 3 being the study season: Poison Study, Magic Study, Fire Study, following Yelena. Then we have the Glass Trilogy, which is Stormglass, Sea Glass, and I can't remember the other one, which follows a side character in these. And then in Night Study, Shadow Study, Dawn Study, we come back to Yelena, who is more grown up and accepting her new role in the world. So yep, we have Carry On. So obviously the next book is Wayward Son, and if you didn't know, Carry On is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek fangirl reference to Harry Potter, but gay. We follow Simon, who is the world's worst chosen one, and yeah, it's just hilarious. So I do want to finish Wayward Son as soon as I can. We have an older series, Delirium, by Lauren Oliver. I've read Delirium, I haven't read any of the other books, but basically this is it's a dystopian from probably when dystopians were just getting big, you know, the time of Hunger Games, Chaos Walking, things like that. But basically in this one we follow Hannah, is it? No, it's not Hannah. She's one of the side characters. Anyway, yeah, but we follow our main character in this, who has always been told that love is a disease, it's dangerous, it leads to all kinds of unnecessary feelings and actions. So they've perfected a cure, and we follow the world where she's all for it until she meets a boy who she should, and starts to have an attraction for that she shouldn't, and it goes from there. Then we have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Now I have read, I'm looking over there because that's where they are. I think I've read the first and second, but this follows Jacob, who ends up with the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. When his grandfather is attacked, Jacob ends up going to Wales, trying to escape these whites that are after him because he can see them. And there are some really cool, creepy photos in here that really help tell the story. So have a dog boy and contortionist there, and it's really creepy. Yeah, I think there's like 6 books now, and I'm still on like book 3. Then we have the second book. Now this book, this is the first book in the Book of Dust, which is the spin-off to his Dark Materials. This book is more of a prequel, as Lyra is only a baby, and we don't follow Lyra in this one. We follow Malcolm, who ends up having to save Lyra from a flood. So that starts that series, and then I believe in the second one, which is The Secret Commonwealth, we follow Lyra when she is all grown up, and hopefully she gets to meet Malcolm again, because that would be a sweet, bit of a sweet reunion. And after what happens in that trilogy, Lyra needs all the friends the original trilogy, Lyra needs all the friends she can get. Poor Will. Poor Will. And the other guy whose name I've forgotten. And then we have the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi. We followed, again, dystopian throwback. We follow Juliet, who is kept captive by the re-establishment, and her touch is lethal, and we sort of figure that one out as we figure out the limits of her power, why she is the way she is, and the world through her. We learn as she does. And then I got to I think it was Defy Me, and oh, that's a roller coaster. But how floppy is this book? Floppy. Yep. Then we have Don't At Me, Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and with this one we follow Selena, who is an assassin, so we think, and she's serving away in the salt mines of Endovia, and she gets out by agreeing to be the prince's champion in this competition. She agrees to, and then if she wins, she has to serve the king, being his hand of justice and trained mercenary, and then for so long, and then she gets her freedom. If she fails in the task, if she fails in the competition, she dies. But then we follow that, and the whole story takes a turn. As we learn more about the world, we learn why Selena does what she does, why things have happened to her, and the people around her have done what she does. And it starts off as a competition just for Selena to get free, and then it turns into so much more. And then in the later books we meet more magic users, there's just so much more. So I need to finish that. I got 2 Empire of Storms, I believe, but yep, we have that one. And then this book is the Merciful Cruel by Margaret Owen. This is the Fairy Loot edition, and this book has the sequel is the Faithless Crow, and I have it Faithless Hawk, sorry, and I have it over there. And this ended on not a cliffhanger as such, but such an open ending that I do want to find out what happens next. But basically in this one we follow Fee, who is training to become the chieftain of her caste, and the casts in this book are based off birds. So we have the crows, which is what Fee is. We have hawks, who are usually the guards, and then we have the phoenixes, who are the ruling power. They are the emperor and his family. So in this one, and the crows are ostracized, looked down on, but they do have an important role in the society. They are the farriers of the dead. They are the ones who sort of clean up after the dead, keep the bodies down, burn the bodies to try and keep off plague. So they are ostracized but needed, and people don't give them the respect that they deserve. And Fee sets out to change that by making a deal with the prince, who is a phoenix, who is of phoenix caste, and his doppelganger hawk guard, and things just go from there. It's such an interesting world, such brilliant character building, and I think this series needs more love on BookTube. So yep, that's there are more books where I picked up the first series and haven't got to yet, like Discovery of Witches. There's 2 there that are a duology that I haven't picked up, which is Dread Nation and Deathless Divide by Justina Ireland. Yeah, I used to be a big series reader, and then just sort of fell out of love with series as more and more books found their way to me, and I just never got back to finishing the old favourites. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of the series I've talked about, or want to, if you've read them, if you want to read them. If you have read them, what do you think? Are they worth continuing, or should I just get rid of them? Because there are a few that I've had for a while and never finished. And what series are you hoping to finish or start in whatever we've got left of 2020, or even start in 2021? So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.